A proposal for Montpelier to process millions of gallons of toxic water from Vermont's only landfill is highlighting broader concerns over how to deal with suspected cancer-causing chemicals.
We're talking about Per and Polyfluoroalkyl Substances, otherwise known as PFAS. Channel 3's Calvin Cutler is live along the Winooski River tonight. And Calvin, we have reported on PFAS chemicals before. Remind us, though, what they are.
Right, so they're a group of man-made chemicals, and they're in just about everything that we use. Food packaging, furniture, even our own clothing. And exposure has been linked to cancer and other negative health outcomes. And for years, it's been treated and has been released into the Winooski River and other waterways. PFAS, the same chemicals from an old Teflon plant that contaminated hundreds of wells in Bennington. Millions of dollars in medical bills and new water lines later.
Clean water.
Residents finally have clean drinking water, but the chemicals are in the ground of that community forever. Our understanding of PFAS, their toxicity, and their ubiquity has grown in the past few years since the Bennington contamination was discovered. They're in consumer products and used by all Vermonters for decades. Products that end up here. Casella's sprawling landfill in Coventry, as seen from SkyMax 3. Stormwater seeps through the garbage, and leachate, rich with PFAS and other contaminants, is collected in tanks. The leachate is then brought here to Montpelier's waste treatment facility, where it's treated for organic and heavy metal materials. But the problem is, right now there's no way to remove the PFAS chemicals from the leachate. And then, like all treated and regulated water, it's released into the watershed, in this case, the Winooski River. At a recent city council meeting, Montpelier residents were shocked to learn this has been happening for years.
This is a question of morality.
This is not a hot potato for us to toss around among us.
Montpelier has the only wastewater treatment facility in Vermont willing and able to take leachate from regional landfills and remove contaminants. Newport used to process the landfill leachate, but now has a moratorium on the juice after PFAS were found in Lake Memphremagog. Other wastewater plants don't have the capacity, leaving Montpelier as the only taker. Under a proposed wastewater permit from the state in front of the city council, Montpelier would triple the amount of leachate it treats and releases into the Winooski, which then runs into Lake Champlain.
I personally am concerned that if we just said, no, we're not going to take it anymore, that the filtration might not happen, and then it might just mean another community is taking it for years and years. All of the regional communities all dump into Lake Champlain eventually.
The state permit also requires Casella to look for another solution. The company is looking at ways to pre-treat leachate at the Coventry landfill to remove PFAS. But right now, that technology doesn't exist.
What kind of technologies exist that allow you to handle, treat, and manage those chemicals without doing any kind of damage to waters of the state or to the ground?
Some would require the chemicals be shipped out of state or require Casella store them on site. But advocates say solutions for dealing with PFAS are as complicated as the problem.
We need to, first and foremost, stop using these chemicals, stop having them be in our products, stop putting them into our waste stream, and then we also need to deal with the PFAS contamination that is already there.
Vermont lawmakers last year started that process, banning some products that contain PFAS. And the EPA this week announced $10 billion to treat and manage PFAS nationally. But leaders say the debate over how to deal with PFAS is part of a bigger conversation of how to manage what we produce and how we dispose of it.
And we just need to make sure that we can manage that process as a whole, so that at the end of this process we can have a treatment system that actually that it does the work that we need to do and can provide confidence to Vermonters that the leachate is being treated.
Now, ultimately, PFAS that are already here in our waterways, in our soil, and in our own bodies, they're here to stay. Now, Montpelier City Council officials are expected to vote on the draft permit next month. Reporting live in Winooski, Calvin Cutler, Channel 3 News.